Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I have videos today from Manguide.
Why do modern women struggle with accountability?
Because that would mean that they have to acknowledge that they don't bring value to the table.
Ooh, true.
That would mean that they have to
And they're
acknowledge
wrong.
that all they have to offer is beauty and intimacy.
Cooter?
And that's unfortunate.
Stinky?
What is a modern woman in your opinion?
A modern woman of 2024 is a woman that seeks attention and validation more than respect and authenticity. It is a woman who is entitled to whatever it is that people have around her. It is a woman that takes things for granted, is not appreciative, and kind of just has a high level of expectation with low level of give. You know, she's a taker, not a giver. So that's my opinion of a
Sounds like most women.
modern day woman. And I really feel like if you really sit down and understand that all you have to offer is
your
a pretty
cooter cat.
face and yeah, the
Cooter.
kitty. I mean, that's
Again,
unfortunate. That's
stinky
empty.
cooter.
You know,
I mean, but a lot of people are sold that the kitty is the most valuable thing of a woman too. That's
yeah,
probably
she's
why they're
giving it up for a meal at Checkers.
Not
kidding.
Checkers.
She ain't going to Checkers. She ain't even going to Cheese.
She's so right. It is. Women are told that it's the most valuable thing, and they just give it away freely, willy-nilly to almost any man that wants to blast inside them.
Cake Factory. She wants Boa. She wants Steak 48. She wants Nobu. So
I don't even know what boa is.
$100 instead of 40.
Damn.
Still a lose if you ask me.
Modern women don't want accountability because facing the mirror would mean admitting they bring nothing to the table but looks and bedroom value. And even that fades with time.
A lot of women have lost their sense of value and self-esteem, integrity, ethics. Society doesn't
I don't even think a lot of women even had those in the first place.
really uphold those values as they once did. Like, we went so far from the 50s trying to be anti-rebellious of that woman that had to fit in that box.
Sure.
And I think we over hit the pendulum in the sense of liberalization, that I feel like we lost a sense of dignity with ourselves.
Yeah, we went from modest women to whores in the streets.
And values. They're just trying to do the huge inflated and look like a star to please men, to be these objects, and they think that's what gives them the the adoration, the status in life. And so I think they're mutilating their bodies in order to appeal to these men that are so dependent on the industry and their women to look like that's where we've gone. So that's where I think women are going wrong now.
Women today aren't liberated, they're lost. In trying so hard to reject the past, they've overshot into self-destruction.
The attention economy is huge. It just rules these women's lives, right? All they care about is how much attention they can get. That's why they get the outrageously big butts, the outrageously big boobs. Instead of being modest and looking proportioned and looking good, no, they went for the outrageous look because it gets them attention.
Chasing validation through surgeries, filters, and fake confidence, all to impress men who don't even respect them.
Yep.
People struggle with loyalty because everybody is their own god and everybody only has loyalty to their own desires. And then the culture perpetuates this. And then usually girls around your age think that your own desires is the only thing that matters, which kind of becomes your religion. And then it becomes your philosophy and it becomes your god. So it's incredibly hard for people to be loyal, especially for women to be loyal when your own desires are your god, because then if anybody fails to meet your desires, it's like a personal crime against you. And that's why a guy can really do nothing wrong in a relationship, like nothing terribly inherently wrong, but it can feel to a woman like you were really wronged by him if he simply fails to excite you or make you feel something. It's almost like an assault on the desire that you so badly seek to feel alive.
Women especially are being conditioned to worship their own emotions. And if a man doesn't serve those emotions 24/7, he's suddenly the villain.
I've never heard the God complex explained in that way. Damn. That makes total sense.
He didn't cheat, didn't lie, didn't harm, but he didn't excite her, didn't fuel her ego or validate her fantasy. And that's enough for her to walk away guilt-free.
There is a guy I interviewed, and he married a Christian woman. No kids, not overweight. They have 2 children together. One day he comes home. The wife has filed a temporary restraining order on him. He's kicked out of his house. No trial, no evidence, no nothing. He has to wait. It's during COVID, so he has to wait a year, year and a half to even get to see his children. And by the time he gets to court, the mom's been in the kid's ear saying how terrible of a person he is. Now they go to court and they say to him, well, you haven't been in the kid's life for a year, year and a half, even though she lied about the abuse and they figured that out in court. This man had, and I saw his court documents, text evidence that this woman was planning to do this to him. In the year, he still had to pay the mortgage on the house. He still had to pay child support in that year, year and a half period. He hasn't seen his kid. Michael, they live a mile from him. Because can you imagine going through that? I've interviewed so many men that I would not be surprised if they committed suicide.
Just because she says Christian doesn't mean she is or will live it.
Yeah, everybody uses labels nowadays, even though they aren't that label, right? They call themselves weird things, Christians and LGBTQ and, socialists or whatever the hell they want to label themselves, even though they're not that. Or they want to label others weird things like fascists and all these other things. Just labels are thrown everywhere nowadays.
Tell me again why certain people say marriage is a good deal for men.
If you're not 6 foot or make 6 figures, women don't want you. We all know dating has become increasingly difficult due to the inflation of female standards. With the amount of options women have on social media and dating apps, it has severely skewed the perception of...
See, that's the thing. They don't really have options on the internet like that. They have maybe Sims that give them attention in DMs, but those aren't options to these women, right? These women only consider very few people as options.
What is desired and attainable. But as a nearly 6 foot man, multi 6-figure earner, handsome, no kids, and under 30, we can have preferences too. For example, I prefer a woman who is 5'5" to 5'7". I prefer a woman who...
I've never even had a height preference.
...makes at least $60,000 a year.
I actually never had an income preference, but you're allowed to have these preferences.
I prefer a woman who is educated and comes from a good family background.
That well-raised and the family background thing is probably the number one for me. Pedigree.
Now, I've earned the right to have these preferences, but the issue is that most women have not. That's like a guy who smokes weed all day in his mom's basement saying that he deserves a Playboy model. You're delusional. And for the woman with delusional standards, I guarantee you that the husband that you will one day settle for is nothing like the Prince Charming you imagined.
The most average-looking women think they deserve male models and rich men. And the crazy part about it is, if we say, I don't want to date you, you're overweight, they'll scream sexism up and down the street, while they
body shaming.
They keep rejecting men left, right, and center for the most insane and materialistic reasons.
Women are now less and less getting married, less and less having children before the age of 30. Why do you think that is?
Women are delusional. We think we're hotter than we are. Women tend to want traditional men. Men tend to want traditional women. But how many women have a cookbook, know how to cook from scratch? How many women would delete their Instagram because their husband told them to?
Or even delete certain photographs.
The men are looked at as dogs if they cheat. But the women are not looked at as dogs if they have a provocative picture on their Instagram. And if anything, they'll die trying to defend it. And then the men are shamed for it. They're called controlling. And I'm just for not wanting your tits on Instagram.
Yeah, we just don't want cheeks be hanging out.
Get out of here.
This disconnect between expectations and actions is straight up toxic. Women demand traditional men, but refuse to embrace any traditional values themselves.
Yeah, Brian says it all the time. Women want traditional men, but to be modern women and have all the modern conveniences in modern society, but men have to be in the 1950s still.
How many men are being wrongfully accused of being emotionally abusive, narcissistic, or gaslighting when really the accusations are being made by an emotionally unstable woman?
Almost every single video we cover when a woman says, my ex was a narcissist.
Now, this is a reality we don't discuss because a lot of women are indeed plagued with the presuppositions that their feelings are supposed to be the only feelings that matter in a relationship. Their feelings are supposed to be the focal point. The guy is supposed to do everything to make sure that they are happy and satisfied.
That God complex where their feelings is the number one thing they worship and care about.
And any attempt made by men to draw boundaries, to criticize the woman, judge the woman, shame the woman, hold her accountable, will be met with manipulative terms like this that women erroneously attribute to normal male behavior and men simply wanting respect and their feelings to be acknowledged and valued as well. A significant percentage of women have unrealistic expectations and have no idea about how relationships are actually supposed to work and how to make them work. And many modern women genuinely have poor interpersonal relationship skills. It is the accepted norm that a woman's perception of a relationship is the golden rule and standard of how relationships should be. And men who fail to abide by those standards are often vilified when the woman is actually the one who's in the wrong.
Way too many guys get slammed with false labels like narcissist or gaslighter just because a woman's unstable or playing the victim.
I mean, I think all men get labeled that as soon as they break up with a woman almost.
It's crazy how women's feelings get treated like the only thing that matters, and men who try to set boundaries end up branded as the bad guy.
In order for you to be a leader, you need to have people that are prepared to follow. And the fact of the matter is, you can be a fantastic leader, but because you have feminist propaganda, it is impossible for men to lead. Women demanded equality.
I agree.
You got it. You can't lead someone who wants to mutiny and who is not prepared to follow. Here's the thing, a lot of women want leadership and they're biologically and evolutionarily attracted to leadership traits in men. Decisive, dominant, masculine, leader. However, these same women do not want to follow.
Modern feminism told them they're bosses too. So now you've got men trying to lead women who think every decision is a threat.
They think every decision they have to have some kind of input into because they are just as important as the leader. And it's not like the leader can't take your advice into consideration. He can. He just doesn't have to because he's the leader. He knows where he's going. He knows where he's leading everything. Your advice, kind of useless half the time.
You can't lead someone who's ready to rebel.
Do you want to know what the problem with many modern women nowadays is? Many modern women, they lack in self-respect, self-worth, integrity, shame, and above all of that, modesty. I mean, just look around. These women are out here celebrating a high body count. They're barely dressed, drunk, twerking in public or on club couches. Instead of competing for a man and work with him, they rather compete with the man. They have nasty attitudes. Most of them are disrespectful, and many of them expect a childless man to take care of a whole other man's child. And when you look at her social media, and it really doesn't matter what type of caption she is using under her post, it's always all about her, her ass, her outfit, where she is, what she's doing, and all of that. It's never about anyone else. It's always about their narcissistic ass. I don't want to talk about all of them, but 99% of them are full of it. Yes, I said what I said. Hate it or love it.
Modern women flaunt wild lifestyles, act like they're in competition with men instead of building something with them.
It's weird that they flaunt like the boat lifestyle and the yacht lifestyle. We don't see those pictures and think, oh, she made it. Oh, look at that. She's such a millionaire. She's got a yacht. No, we just think you're a yacht whore. Off the rip.
Expecting a guy to raise some other dude's kid? Nah, that's straight disrespect.
In the days, most of the time, you would wait for someone to make the first move. It might be on the first date, it might be the third date, whatever. It could be the man, it could be the woman. But now, all my friends have noticed that the man has stopped making the first move. All my girlfriends are like, they're waiting. It's the third date, fourth date, a week later. He hasn't gone in for the kiss. He doesn't do any touching or anything. And I've asked my dude friends that are single, and they are like, you don't know where a woman's going to go with that story anymore. I ain't touching nobody. And it sucks because the Me Too movement is so strong and so powerful for the people that need it, but it shouldn't ruin the maturity that we should have within intimacy and relationship.
Men ain't making the first move anymore because we're tired of gambling our lives on a damn kiss.
It doesn't seem like gambling, but it does feel like gambling.
A dude flipping hamburgers can't keep a modern woman.
No.
The top 50 richest men in the world can't keep a modern woman.
Yeah, but those richest men also have some shady shit going on too. Just saying.
What makes you think that you can, sir? Get them? Sure, that's the easy part. Keep them? That's the hard part.
It is.
It's wild how even the richest dudes out here can't hold on to these modern chicks. It's not about love, loyalty, or building anymore. It's about ego and endless options.
Again, I understand the whole, even the richest men are losing, women. The only one I can really think of that was like a true detriment is Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady would be the poster child of good man, solid, tall, not dark, but handsome, or, makes money, all of this. He hits all the accolades, and he got left. Right now, where we're talking about like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and stuff, questionable. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and catch you guys next time. Ciao.